Hi students and parents. Tonight we're going to learn about multiplying with regrouping. Parents, you'll be excited as tonight is multiplying the way you learned. Go ahead and write the title on your notes, students, and then let's move forward. Our learning goal for the unit is to use place value to multiply a two-digit number by another two-digit number. And today we're going to learn how to use regrouping to multiply two-digit numbers. Let's take a look at this problem. By 1914, Henry Ford had streamlined his assembly line to make a Model T Ford car in 93 minutes. How many minutes did it take to make 25 Model Ts? Since the problem tells me that Henry Ford could make a Model T car in 93 minutes, I can answer the question of how many minutes did it take to make 25 Model Ts using multiplication. I would solve the problem of 93 times 25. Before I multiply 93 times 25 with regrouping, let's go ahead and think about the estimate for this problem. I could round 93 to 90. And since 25 is a nice friendly number, I might not round it at all and leave it 25. 9 times 25 is 225. With an additional 0, I get an estimate of 2,250. So I could say that 93 times 25 is about 2,250. And I'll look for my answer to be close to that number. As we multiply, let's remember that our estimate was 2,250. That way we can check to see if our answer makes sense in the end. Another thing that might help as we multiply 93 times 25 would be to think about our partial products box. If I'm going to multiply 93 times 25, I'm going to do 90 and 3 and 20 and 5. As I multiply using the regular algorithm or regrouping, I'm going to do that same steps as I solve my problem. I'm going to do 93 and 25. 25 times 93. And I'm going to start by multiplying by my 3 ones. This first step is just like multiplication from this first chapter. I need to multiply my 3 ones times 25. I'm going to do 3 times 20 and 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. So I put down my 5 and regroup my 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Now I'm ready to go on to step 2, which is to multiply by my 9 tens. In my partial products expanded form box, my 9 tens is my 90, and I have to do 20 times 90 as well as 5 times 90. Now, my 90 or my 9 tens has a 0 in it. I'm going to make place for that 9 tens by putting in a 0, because when I use my multiply by 10 strategy, I always have to add the 0 for 90 into the answer. Once I place that 0, I can multiply by 9 and regroup as usual. 9 times 5 is 45, so I'm going to put down my 5 and carry my 4. Since that 1 is from when I did the 3, I no longer need it. Now I'm going to multiply 9 times 2 and get 18, plus my 4 is 22. That gives me an answer when I add my partial products. 5, 7 and 5 is 12, 2 and 1 is 3, and 2 plus nothing is 2. of 2,325 minutes. If I look back at my estimate, 2,250 is close to my exact answer of 2,325, so I can say that my answer is reasonable, and my multiplication is probably correct. All right, let's try 68 times 53. 68 and 53. Now, to multiply 68 and 53, I'm going to think of 53 as 5 tens and 3 ones. And I'm going to start by multiplying my 68 by my 3 ones. 3 times 8 is 24. I'm going to put down my 4 and regroup my 2. And 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 is 20. Now, I'm going to multiply 68 by my 5 tens. Since my 5 is a 5 tens, I'm going to start by placing the 0 that I would use in all of my answers so that I could think about multiplying by 5. 5 times 8 is 40, so I'm going to put down my 0 and regroup my 4. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 4 is 34. Now I add my partial products to get 4, 0, 6, 3, or 3,604. If I estimate to check, 68 rounds to 70, and 53 rounds to 50. My basic fact of 7 times 5 is 35. When I add 2 zeros, I get 3,500. Since 3,500 is close to my exact answer of 3,604, I can say that my answer is reasonable. Let's try another example. Be sure to copy this one in your notes. 27 times 54. I'm going to start by multiplying by my 4 ones. 4 times 7 is 28, and I regroup my 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. For the next step, I'm going to multiply by my 5 tens. And because my 5 is in the tens place, I'm going to add my 0 that I would add to my answer automatically when I multiply by 5 tens. Now I can think about multiplying by 5. 5 times 7 is 35. Put down the 5, carry the 3. And then 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. I add my partial products to get my final answer of 1,458. If I want to estimate to check, I may use the compatible number of 25 for 27 and then round 54 to 50. If I think 5 times 25 is 125 and then add the 0, I get an estimate of 1,250. That estimate is close to my exact answer of 1,458. So I can assume that my multiplication is correct and go on with my answer. Now let's look at a problem that follows a pattern. I can see in this chart that I'm taking hours and turning it into minutes. I know that 1 hour is 60 minutes. And I can use this to check. In 5 hours, there's 300 minutes. And if I multiply 60 times 5, 6 times 5 is 30, I do in fact get 300 minutes. 10 hours would be 10 times 60. Using my multiples of 10, 6 times 1 is 6, with 2 zeros, is in fact 600. And if I do 15 times 60, I can use my multiples of 10 and do 6 times 15. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9, and then add the 0 to my answer, which is also 900. To find my missing numbers, that means I'm going to have to multiply 20 times 60 and 25 times 60. For 20 times 60, I'm going to use my multiples of 10 rule. 6 times 2 is 12. Put 2 zeros in my answer. My missing number is 1,200. For 25 times 60, I'm going to multiply 6 times 25. I know 6 25s is 150. Then I add the 0 to my answer for the one that I left out, giving me 1,500. To write the rule for my chart, I have to remember to go from hours to minutes, or the top to the bottom, not across my rows. Since 1 hour is 60 minutes, I multiplied by 60 to find my missing numbers. To write this as a rule, I did hours times 60, and that told me the minutes. Using the variables of h and m, I can write h times 60 equals m. I can then use that rule to find the number of minutes in any number of hours. It's time for your check. Go ahead and complete the check that goes along with today's video, and be sure to include work for those problems. Bring those work and your notes to class tomorrow, as we will start by reviewing these problems as a whole group before we go on. For tonight, I would really like you to try using the regular algorithm to solve these problems. If you're not sure yet how to use the regular algorithm, go back and watch the video again. Look at the examples and try to mimic the steps and follow along. We will go over them again tomorrow in class to make sure you understand this strategy, as it is a more fluent way to complete these problems. Thank you, and have a good night.